What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. This week, I have my good friend Mal on. We are talking about weight stigma, body positivity, neutrality, whatever you want to call it these days. So stay tuned if you're interested. All right, welcome back. This has been a long anticipated podcast. I had put a poll up on Instagram with all these questions about diet culture, weight, how you feel about your body. Have you ever dieted? What diets have you tried? All the things about a month ago. And we're getting to those today. But I wanted to have Mal on with me. She's been with me the longest through the journey that I've kind of went through with my body, how I feel about it, the diets I've went through. I've done it all. So this year, even I put out in my podcast that I'm trying to be more body neutral, I think is the word to use, versus body positivity. And we'll get into that later on what I learned about saying body positivity. So first we'll start out with the Instagram, or welcome, Mal.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I'm happy to be here.
Mal was on our New York episode. We did an episode in New York. You can go back and listen to that. But anywho,
It was just a brief little one, right? It wasn't very long.
it was how we felt about our New York trip.
Yeah.
It was fun. Fun times. We should go back and podcast there again.
Yes, immediately.
I mean, you weren't. A couple wine glasses in. Per usual. So first Instagram poll question, I put, have you ever dieted? I know I have. Have you ever dieted, Mal?
Oh my God, yes. Like, are you a woman? Because or do you identify as female? Because I just feel, I mean, that's not a gender specific thing.
It kind of is.
obviously.
I don't feel like men diet very much.
I mean, I think that they do, but probably not as openly as women. Like, it's such a topic of conversation. What diet I'm doing these days? At least I find that it is with maybe older generations more so than ours. But
I feel like men's diets are more, I'm going to cut out soda for a week and lose
Right.
20 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
So-
yeah. I'm going to eat beef sticks and cheese.
And because they don't have estrogen to counterpart that. So fuck you, men. Just kidding. Love everyone here. So the question was, have you ever dieted? 100% people said yes. 8 were male, 19 were female. I have obviously a more female driven audience on Instagram. So I thought that was pretty interesting though, because 8 males did say they have tried diets.
Yeah.
But, and I should have thought about this better, when I asked what diets have you tried, I should have put it in a box, like if you're male or female, to kind of see which ones. I did notice more that the males said they were trying things like paleo.
Counting your macros. Like,
Yeah,
that's
so
still, like,
not really dieting. I don't think that, and that's why I hate the word dieting, right?
yeah.
Because it used to be like, we're going to diet from something we're doing.
Implies it's restricted.
Yeah, but it's not, because you can eat a healthy diet. Right. It's your dietary needs. We need to change the word.
We need to change a lot of words.
So the diets that people had tried, I'm just going to kind of read them off. I know you were reading them earlier. Keto, intermittent fasting, metabolic diet. Never heard of that. I'll have to look it up. Low fat dieting, macro counting, low carb, low cal, calorie counting, 20-30, fast track, blood type, Weight Watchers, Optavia, paleo, 21 day fixed, whole 30, dairy free, gluten free, vegan, vegetarian, all of them. Someone said all of them.
All of them.
I've done all of them. And someone said, and we will talk about this a little bit later, anorexia. So that's not a diet, and we'll dive into that later. I think whoever said it maybe was trying to be funny. Maybe they weren't. I don't know. We'll dive into that. There is such thing as exercise anorexia, which is not a diet. That's more of a what's the word for,
like, when you become very into like burning as many calories as you eat or something, or like burning more calories.
What is so like exercise anorexia, bulimia, anorexia, all that falls into, I guess, a diagnosis, an illness,
right?
Versus a diet.
Disorder, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Definitely wouldn't call that a diet. Yeah.
Now, do you restrict enough to possibly fall into that category? Could totally see that. Now, the people who have tried all these diets, I asked, was your diet sustainable? And I couldn't determine male or female on this because I didn't ask which ones were dieting a certain diet. So if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
Because obviously if the people who said yes, maybe that was a paleo diet.
Right.
Yeah. So was your diet sustainable? 33% people said yes. 67% people said no. Now, I clearly can see the back end on Instagram. I can see who answered what and who typed in what diet. Most people who said that the yes was sustainable was the macro counting paleo where you're not restricting.
Right.
So I could see the back end of that. So that was that poll. And then the next question was, do you focus on your weight/body often? So 63% of people said yes. That was 13 female, 4 people male. And then 37% said no, 6 female, 4 male. I do that. I focus on my body quite often. And I think that comes from disordered eating in college.
What was the question again on that?
Do you focus on your weight or body often?
Oh, yeah.
And I mean,
so many people do.
And I love the people that the 37% of people who said no, love that. Like, I wish I didn't. I'm trying to get there. I don't know if I will ever be there.
Right. It is a journey and it is not short. Yeah.
I think it's an everyday thing, kind of like when you're dealing with depression or you're dealing with, what would it be another comparison? I mean, it's a mental health disorder, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle.
Because it's ingrained in you.
And it's so far ingrained that I think that even some people maybe that said no don't even realize that they are. Because you can think a very fleeting thought in your, like, subconsciously or something, and not, like, you can be in a bad mood from looking in the mirror and not put those two things together.
Yep.
That you were thinking those things on a very deep level, very briefly, very fleeting, but it's just a quick, like, you look like shit, you're worthless. Move on. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because my mood, I would say 75% of the time is determined on, does my outfit look good? Do I feel good today? And
did I put any effort into?
Yeah. Like 75% of the time, and half the time, if I'm like, this fucking outfit looks like shit, I'm in a bad mood.
Right.
Instantly. Yeah. My clothes don't fit. Instantly.
You know what else I have found super interesting since I've started trying to pay attention to my thoughts? Because you have to do that. Because if you're not trying to bring your thoughts to the surface, you're never going to be able to acknowledge them and try to change them. It is a whole 12-step program.
It is. It is. It 100% is.
But I've noticed that, like, when I'm in the mirror getting ready in the mornings, whether I'm brushing my teeth or my hair is like half rolled, or like if I'm in the process of getting ready and I don't feel fully ready and Brett is trying to talk to me about something, or I have noticed that I'm more irritated when I'm in front of the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, stop talking to me. And it's not him. Yeah. It's just that in that moment, I'm uncomfortable because I'm vulnerable and I can see it in myself, and I'm like, ooh, it's nasty.
So that's a good point, because I'm very negative. We know that. My intention this year is to be more positive.
You're working on it.
I'm doing better. And my goal this year, I've set intentions, and it's actually really working. Just like you said, you have to pay attention to your thoughts. So as soon as I notice that I'm saying, those clothes look stupid, that outfit's dumb, no one's going to like that, I'll go, nope, go away. Now say 3 positive things right now.
Yeah, it's hard to do. And because you have to be thinking about it.
Every single day, every single time. And when you say you have to pay attention to your thoughts, it brings me back to another thing, like even being intentional with other people. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with your body, but I've started asking myself when I'm getting irritated or frustrated or whatever, I say, is this a me problem?
Right.
Or is this really bothering me? Right. Is this something I'm dealing with? Because we all have attachment styles. We all have issues. Like, I have an anxious attachment style. I've learned that. Like, I actually have an anxious avoidant, which is very rare, obviously. So the way a therapist explained it to me is you say, I hate you, but don't leave me.
Yeah. So I can see that.
Very anxious, but don't leave me. So you get anxious about people leaving, but then you don't want them around. So... Go me. Yeah. Figures.
I feel like that also might be Brett's attachment style.
But it does. And so I'm trying to like get in tune with that. So then I have to ask myself when other things are happening. I know me and you've had issues because of me, and I have to start asking myself and pay attention to my feelings and say, is this a me problem? And then I've noticed I'll be like, yeah, you're actually being anxious. Then it kind of goes away.
Yeah. If you're able to find it and confront it.
because I'm like, what is bothering me? Oh, it's me. I'm being anxious. It's not the other person.
Yeah. And everyone also has their own set of triggers and things. And my therapist and I were just having a conversation about how your triggers are your own responsibility, which is also like something I never thought about. Like, she's like, my daughter hates styrofoam. And I'm like, if I'm opening a package, you better leave because like, sorry.
I like your therapist. I might need her name. No, I've heard that like on a podcast where your triggers are your responsibility.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Because it's so easy to be like, you're fucking annoying. And I'm like, hold on.
Why is this triggering me?
Let's process that for 1 second. Yeah.
So and I think that maybe that ties into, I don't know how this got off on the mental health, but anyways, I think that ties off into how I say, like, is this a me problem? Because I realize it's bringing out that anxiety in me. So I realize it's a me problem. And so I'm having to be responsible for that and saying, okay, let it go.
Yeah.
But if it's not a me problem, bitch, you're going to get told. Just kidding.
Plan B. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we got off on a mental health tangent because it's very,
I think it is.
It's very parallel issues. I can't.
No. Yeah. Like the stigma.
Yes. Like,
I think it's a mental health disorder in my personal opinion. It's not, but it is to me.
Well, it's definitely an issue. I don't know if it's a disorder, but the societal pressures and the societal norms that our society has created are so ridiculous, and we put these pressures on ourselves and waste all of this time and energy trying to look a certain way that in the end, if we got that, would we actually be happy?
No.
Right.
And I know that because I'm a coach, right? I coach nutrition. The first thing I tell my clients is if you're not happy with your weight right now, you will not be happy 50, 20, 30, 100, 200 pounds lighter. Why do I know that? Because I've been all shapes, all sizes, and I'm still not happy.
Right.
Like, if you focus on one thing, when you get that one thing, you have to focus and obsess over another. You just replace it with another obsessive thought.
Yeah. And it also becomes that whole stream of, I'm not good enough yet. I'm not good enough yet. I'm not good enough yet. And when you've done that for 10, 15, 20, fucking 30 years of your life, when you do get to that body, you still have those thoughts.
Yeah. 1,000%.
You've created that thought train no matter what it's about. You're not worthy.
Well, that's when body dysmorphia also comes in because so just backstory, I have always weighed 120, 125 pounds. I don't really care about weight because I lift weights. I want to be strong. I want to be muscular. I also know, because I have an autoimmune disease, how bloating feels and how that inflammation feels. I don't like feeling inflamed. I don't like when my face gets inflamed, I can feel it. I carry water in my hands and in my feet. They swell up. My shoes don't fit. So when I got my thyroid problems for the first time, I gained 20 pounds like 6 weeks. No one wanted to listen to me because I was only 140 pounds, normal weight, right? Okay. But that was 20 pounds on my body. I didn't feel good. No doctor would listen to me. They thought I was asking for narcotics for thyroid medication. I was like, okay, got it. No one wants to listen to this. And I get it. I'm in a smaller body. And so if I've gained 20 pounds, I'm still a small person. But then when I'm like, yeah, I need to lose weight, I don't like the way I feel, I also have been criticized, but you're not big. Why do you need to lose weight? Well, it's not that I need to lose weight. I gained 20 pounds with something out of my control, and it didn't feel good on my body. And then I was criticized. So regardless, I'm not saying I looked bad.
Right.
I'm just saying in my mind, that was a lot of weight on someone. 20, like if you're 200 pounds and you get to 220, you're like, that's a lot of weight. 20 pounds is 20 pounds no matter what size you are. It's society that says, but you're already small, so what does it matter? So I've seen it on the opposite end where I'm kind of like,
because they think you have a vanity issue, and then you're worried about your health.
Yeah. I mean, no, granted, it does become a vanity issue because I'm like, oh, this is 20 pounds. None of my clothes fit. I got to buy 2 sizes.
Right. Because society says this is unacceptable.
Right. But the only reason I knew something was wrong was because I had disordered eating. And I had a nutrition coach. I was eating 1,000 calories a day. I was working out twice a day, and I was gaining 20 pounds. And she was like, you might need to go to the doctor. She was like, something is wrong. And I was like, Yeah, like I don't understand why I'm eating 1,000 calories a day. Well, then I learned that your metabolism adapts, right? Like we as women, 90s babies, we're taught, oh, the less you eat, calories in, calories out. The less you eat, the more you work out, the more energy you put out, the less weight you
Right.
You weigh
Yeah,
less.
it's so simple.
Yeah, but that's wrong. We were taught wrong, and it's so crazy. Like going full spectrum on the other end, like your metabolism actually adapts to those calories, and you actually put on weight for eating less because your metabolism is like, oh, you're starving me now. Okay, got you.
We're storing up.
You don't need to burn that fat. You don't need to grow hair. You don't need to do that because we need to keep you alive. So then you store up. Then you have metabolic problems and you offset autoimmunity. We cause it to ourselves a lot of times.
Right.
Because we're doing all these things for vanity.
Right.
And so
turns into a health issue, which then you have to follow a specific diet for your health issue.
Right.
It's full circle.
Right. So now I have to do gluten-free, and I love me some gluten. I love me some funnel cakes. Love me a good burger.
Funnel cakes.
Love me some bayonets. Is that how you say them?
Beignets. Bayonet is a weapon.
I say everything wrong.
And it's amazing because it's so entertaining.
Bayonet. I say it the way it's spelled. That's how bayonet. Wait, what? Beignets. Beignets. I love me all them things. Okay, and I will eat them.
Beignets are delicious
to a certain degree, but I do so I studied up on all these diets or whatever, and I stick to more paleo because of the inflammation, not because of weight. It's just foods that trigger inflammation or whatever.
Right.
Anyways, where I was going with that was I've seen it on both spectrums. I've been 140 pounds. I've been 120. I recently lost the weight again because my doctor put me on medication to help my metabolism, and thyroid medication. Lost too much weight. Didn't mean to. It was the medication. Obviously took me off the medication, gaining the weight back. But then I got criticized for losing too much weight. So it was like, it was never a winning. People are like, you've lost too much weight. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, well, thanks. Got it.
Also, please don't comment on my body. Thank you.
But also it was more of some of the people, like I got too small. Like I got under 120 pounds. I'm going to be super honest about it. Super small. My clothes didn't fit. I did not like the way I looked. I like to be muscular. I like to be athletic. I like that look. And I was like, oh, I'm too small. And then the people that were like, you look so good. You look so good. Then that triggers something in your mind. Well, did I not look good before?
Yeah.
But that also did that to me in college, because in college when we, I went through almost probably exercise anorexia. I was eating 1,000 calories a day. Then I'd go to the gym and try to burn off what I ate. And then I got down to like a size 3, too small. And people would comment in college and be like, you look so good. So then when I would gain the weight back, it was like, now I'm too, like it became a body dysmorphia. I was like, oh, now I'm too big. Now I'm too small. Now I'm too big. Now I'm too small. So it's like that perpetual cycle.
Yeah. Also just society praising when someone's body becomes smaller. You don't know what's happening. That person could have a terminal diagnosis for all you know. You don't know what's going on with that person. Number one, that they got smaller in the first place. Number two, by praising someone for making their body smaller, you are instantly devaluing larger bodies.
Yep.
You are instantly pushing them down and lifting up and saying that you're more worthy in society because your body is smaller. Yep. And that is absolutely unacceptable.
Well, and then it becomes in that person's mind, like, so I got too small and then I gained 10 pounds back and I needed to. Now in my mind is like, no one's complimenting me anymore. No one thinks I'm
not getting societal validation.
I'm not good enough anymore. So it does become that perpetual cycle. And then it also makes me, and it kind of goes into the more body positivity talk, like Remy Bader, Meghan Trainor, the rapper. Who's the rapper? Why am I blanking?
Which rapper?
The one that's all like she twerks in a thong.
Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, no. Megan Thee Stallion.
You made me Lizzo. Oh. I'm like, she twerks in a thong. All these people who have bigger bodies, who I love and adore, look up to, love everything they're about.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to podcasts that they've done. Remy Bader did a podcast recently, and someone asked her, "Are you body positive?" And she said, "No, I'm not. I will never say I'm body positive." And she explains it, and I never thought of this, and it made me change my wording from body positive to body neutrality.
Right. Yeah, there's so many different varying levels of things that become kind of confusing.
She said, "I'm not okay with my weight." She said, "I have health issues." She said, "I have a binging disorder. I've been open about that." She said, "I'm trying to get help." She said, "I love my body. Don't get me wrong." She said, "I'm neutral about it. I don't think I look good, look bad." She said, "But I'm not body positive because I'm not going out here saying everyone should look like me." And so I was like, oh, okay. I've never heard it explained that way. So I appreciated her opinion on that.
Right.
You know, I was just like, never heard. She was like, I'm more of the body neutrality. Like my body is just a body. It's here on this earth to just be.
Right.
It isn't good. It isn't bad. It's just here.
Isn't me. Yeah.
It's just here.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Love it.
This is a vessel. It does not say anything about who I am.
Right. And I was like, I like that explanation because I think this whole body positivity has gotten a little far left per usual because Lizzo gets shit all the time. Lizzo's very healthy. She has went out there and says she's healthy. She's like, I have nothing wrong with me. Like, I think Jillian Michaels.
Yeah. She said something about
her weight.
Yeah. They were like, how do you feel about celebrities? And I might not get this right. It was years ago, but something about celebrities that celebrate being overweight when you're like, you know, all about getting people into smaller bodies, which yikes, what a bad time for that to be your profession. But, and she said something along the lines of like, okay, well, have fun getting diabetes, or, you know, something along the lines that she was going to eventually get diabetes or some other heart disease or whatever the stigma is with being overweight. Yeah. And so not good.
And so with that being said, like, I have to even preach to people in my field of health professional. Like, there's super skinny people that come in having heart attacks at 40 years old. Why? I spoke to this. He was a patient of mine. He had a heart attack at 40 years old, had multiple stents, essentially a freaking metal jacket around his heart, how many heart attacks he had. And I asked him why. He said, well, people made fun of me for being too skinny, so I literally eat McDonald's 3 times a day. Oh. So he's not healthy just because he's skinny.
Right.
He's genetically skinny. And now he's unhealthy because people made fun of him. So, and then it brings into question, like, Remy Bader and all them, like, I listen to their podcast, and I'm sure Lizzo and them gets this, and Meghan Trainor just recently lost weight because she wanted to. And I've asked this to people I've had on the podcast. I can't think of her name right now. I'm having such brain fog. She was a model for Discount Divas, and I was like, do you ever feel pressure to lose weight? And she was like, yeah, you know, sometimes. Because, or like, do you feel pressure not to lose weight, but like, if you lose weight, do you feel like your plus size modeling or whatever they want to call it now is at risk?
Yeah.
And I like, same with Remy, like, she got famous on saying, I love my body. So if she loses weight, is she now saying she doesn't?
Yeah. That's the same thing that's happening with, I follow Rosie Hardaway. Her Instagram name is like Rosie B.
Is that the one with the really hot husband?
I don't know.
The one of her husbands she does like videos with, and everyone's like, you're not married.
Oh, no, I think I know who you're talking about. I don't remember her name.
Okay.
But Rosie does have a cute husband, but I think I know who you're talking about. They don't make a lot of videos together. But anyway, she is, a pretty big body, plus size influencer. I was going to say body positive, but that's not the right term to use.
It's no longer the it word.
It's canceled. Body positivity is canceled. She has recently started losing weight, and she's not like a ton, but enough that it's been noticeable to her followers. She's getting all kinds of backlash for it. And she's gone from like a 3X to a 2X for reference. But her big thing was like, she went to a theater on Broadway in New York City and couldn't fit in one of the seats. They had to leave. And she was so excited to go to this show. And like, that's devastating. So she was like, I can still love my body and just want it to be different or be accepting of my body. Because I think that's at least what I just read on the Google, that the difference between body positivity and body neutrality is like, you don't always have to love your body, but you can accept it.
And that's what I think Remy was saying. Like, she was like, I don't always love my, no, I have issues. Like, I sometimes I'm like, like I was smaller once. Yeah. And she was like, I'm not 100%. She said, do I try? Yeah. She was like, but I'm, and I will never, and that's what I love about Remy is she was like, I will never say I'm 100% always okay with my body.
Right. Because nobody is. Just like, you're not okay with anything 100% of the time. You're like, I don't want to have orange juice all the time. Like, I like it, but it's not going to be the thing every day.
We want to change our hair color every other day. We want to cut it. We want to grow it.
We have different shades of eyeshadow. Like, it's just, you're not going to love it every day. And that's fine. But to know that you're not worth any less because of it is the overall message.
I was going to say, that's the power.
Right.
Like, that's figuring out, like, once you figure out how to love yourself whole.
Right.
It doesn't, and that comes down to your personality, your character. Who are you? I think that's where the work comes in. And that's one of the, questions I think someone had said, or someone was like, they're still trying to love their body. Cause I had asked, like what I left out, and someone had said, I'm trying, I'm in therapy for it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's wonderful. Like, I think you should go to therapy. I think I truly think it's a mental thing that we have to just love ourselves. Mm-hmm. And that's really hard in this society.
Right.
When society's telling you, look this way, look that way. Right. Oh, no, that's out. This is in.
Right, exactly. They're like, your waistband should be higher, your ass should be bigger, your hip should be wider, and now you should have a thigh gap, but you shouldn't have a thigh gap, but your fucking
everyone looks
knees
like fucking, should touch. What's it, like the someone, it was on Instagram, like the Kim Kardashian body. Obviously, allegedly. Oh, allegedly, it's not real. Allegedly. We all know there's this thing called a BBL. So when they did their little x-ray for implants, obviously there's no implants if you have a BBL.
A BBL is the butt lift?
It's the Brazilian butt lift. Yeah. So where they suck fat out of anywhere on your body, stomach, thighs, arms, put it in your butt. So it is your fat, and they just move it to your butt. Okay. It's actually the most dangerous plastic surgery they do.
Oh, cool.
Because there's an artery apparently that runs through there, and they can nick it and you could die.
Yikes.
Yeah. Now, the Kardashians are small because everything's cycling back to the 90s, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so the 90s was the era of stick figure. That's where we got our body dysmorphia from. Like, everyone should be stick figure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's not tell everybody what we're doing. Anorexia, medication.
Right.
This is normal. This is, not genetics, not whatever.
Mm-hmm. The poor
and then it went through...
I love them. I love them so much. And they just never had a chance.
Yeah. Well, then it went through the Kardashian era where it was like curves. Mm-hmm. Everyone loved curves, praised curves. Well, now the Kardashians have lost so much weight and everyone's speculating that they're reversing their BBLs.
My God. They're exhausting to me. I think my thoughts on the Kardashians, and I'm just
saying, like,
it disgusts me how they have become like the standard of what should be happening and what people should be looking like. Because number one, that takes a lot of fucking money.
It does.
Normal people don't have.
If you have a lot of money, you could be real beautiful.
But you also need a lot of time off to recover from all that fucking surgery.
Trust me, we know. I've had it done. Mal's taken me to all my procedures. Guys, it's not a lot. I'm just saying, like, we'll dive into that one day. Matt will come back and talk about all the procedures we've had.
A procedure episode.
It was just breast implants, then a revision. Yeah. We had breast implants placed, a revision,
implant removal,
then a removal,
a revision, then
three implant surgeries.
Actually, we're doing the procedure podcast now. So
and then my eye surgery. So just 4.
Yeah, okay. It's not bad.
It's not that long.
It's not bad.
But yeah, and I've done things like lip filler that looked horrible. Had to go get it reversed. Went a little too big. Did all the things.
But also, people shouldn't feel shame for that. I don't feel like. Have you seen or heard that trending audio of Dolly Parton? And it's a reel, and she's like, "I think if you can," she says it really fucking fast. If you can if you can afford to do it and have the time to do it or
Do
whatever,
it,
and you
yeah.
want to do it, then
Do it.
do it. If it's going to make you feel better.
I'm trying, and that's also key. So we said that key is loving yourself, but key is also not letting society tell you how to feel about yourself.
Right.
And that is a motherfucking challenge.
Yeah. Because people are throwing stuff in your face every day that tells you, especially in a bigger body, that your body is not okay. Like, you do not see fat people on TV for real unless they're supposed to be gross or funny.
You're right. You're 100% right.
There ain't no, I mean, there's a few exceptions. Like, there's some, I think, Rebel Wilson things,
But she's even recently lost weight.
she has, which is fine. No one should care.
Yeah.
They should be hired based on their talent. And it's so hard because they just assume that that's all anybody wants to see, that nobody wants to see people that look like them. That's not true.
No, it's not.
It actually
People
much
want,
healthier
Yeah, to see real people.
if movies actually looked like a Dove commercial.
Well, that's like a lot of people, when all this started coming out, like Marilyn Monroe was like the sexy icon. Yeah. She was a size 6'8", which was normal then.
Yeah.
Like curves, voluptuous, boobs, butt. She wasn't a stick figure size 0 model that everyone's striving to be.
Yeah.
And people try to bring that up a lot. Like, hey, like y'all remember like Marilyn Monroe was the sex icon, sexiest person. She was a size 6'8".
Yeah. She still wasn't large though.
No, I'm just saying like versus like what people are saying like model 0, -0.
Yeah.
1 is. I'm just saying like, yes, no, she wasn't not a big, like, I'm saying normal size body, right? Like what's normal? There isn't a normal.
No.
Quote unquote.
There shouldn't be.
That's what I'm saying. Like
normal.
quote unquote societal normal
Right.
is like a 8 to 10 is what they say, right? That's what Google says.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Google. This isn't a visual podcast. I'm using air quotes.
Using a lot of air quotes.
I keep using air quotes. No one can see them. I'm just saying like that makes a difference versus where did it come to turn into this get smaller than what is even possible.
Right.
Like most people walking around are a size 6 to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really below a 6 normally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, when did we decide that we have to keep pushing the limit to get smaller?
When we gave that the power, or the patriarchy gave that the power.
I mean, I remember it a lot in the 90s though.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I'm not blaming men for anything, obviously, but like dating people, I've had comments made on my body.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, like I was eating a Pop-Tart or a donut. I remember I was eating a donut and I went to get another one. And the guy I was dating goes, "You're going to eat another one?"
You were how old?
17. And I was like, well, yeah, because that was the first time that a man had ever commenting. Like my sister made, my stuff started a long time ago.
Yeah, same.
Like my sister would be like, "You're too fat, you're too ugly, no one's ever going to like you."
Mm-hmm.
Constantly, starting at the age of 10 probably.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed at 15 I was bigger than my friends. Like I was developing more D-size breast, bigger, whatever. And at 15 I was like, "Mom, I got to work out. I got to start eating. I got to diet."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "I got to go run the block." She was like, "What?"
Yeah, I did that. I think I was 16 actually, but I was working out every day. I was literally, my mom would make me a Slim Fast in the blender with ice in the morning.
Callie!
In the morning. And I would take...
Callie's your mom.
I would take like a sandwich bag of Wheat Thins and like, I don't know, some peanut butter or some shit for lunch. Like it was ridiculous.
When I first met you, because you were like the most beautiful thing. I still think you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, but when I first met you, I remember... I met you in college and everyone came to your house for, going out to Sammy T's, going to the club. And we all congregated.
Yeah.
Help me with more words.
You got it.
Congregated in your room to watch you put on makeup. Do you remember? Like, so even that, like going back to the beginning of this story, when you said that you don't like your husband, Brett, looking at you in the mirror, you're irritated because you're like, "Oh, I just don't like."
Right.
But we all did that. And
I feel like you guys were like waiting for me because I took forever.
First of all, super weird. Trying not to stare at you because I was like, she is so beautiful.
That's sweet.
No, like I was just like, am I being creepy? Like, don't stare. But like
she puts on a lot of eyeliner.
No, I just remember, and we had a conversation. I don't know if you remember this, that you had just recently lost weight when I met you. Like you were dieting.
What was that? 2007?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I was always dieting. That was probably the time I was working at the bar and not sleeping and having like bags of that tuna that they make in bags now that's not in cans. Like I'd literally like eat that all day. Or I did also when I was working at the bar, that stupid ass fucking master cleanse. It's like lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. Yeah. And it is so gross. Like why are we doing this to ourselves?
But I remember that, like we had a conversation about it, but anyways, going back to the survey, got way off topic there. I asked if you had, let me see, hold on just a second. I had asked if you had a good relationship with your body. 52% of people said yes, 8 being female, 6 being male. And then 48% said no, 8 being female and 2 being male. I actually was surprised by this. Mm-hmm. I thought more people would say no, that they didn't have a good relationship with their body. I'm happy that they do. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's almost neck and neck, right? 52, 48%. Yeah. But I thought it would have went the other way.
Yeah. What was the percentage of male to female?
On the yes for good relationship with their body, 8 female said yes, 6 male said yes. And then 8 females said, so the females were 50-50. Mm. And then it was the males that kind of skewed it. So 6 males said yes, 2 males said no, they're not happy with their body.
That's amazing to me that half and half women said that.
Mm-hmm. I know. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Love that. Yeah. Like, want to be part of your crew. Right, like, not there yet.
Can we get their Instagram handles?
Right. Well, I know who they are on the back end, but I will never tell. I don't do that.
I'm joking.
No, I love that. And I mean, like, put it out there. So I wanted to bring up some facts about the diet industry, which should be well known. It was a quick Google search. $60 billion industry for the diet industry, 80% failure rate. That's why it's a $60 billion industry. It sets you up for failure. Diets are not sustainable. And that's what I tell people. The only thing that's sustainable is if you're doing it. And that's why I hate the word diet, because you can use it for anything, right? Like I'm dieting, like I'm restricting, or right. I'm dieting to be my dietary needs. Like your right. sister, Megan's vegan. Mm-hmm. She has a vegan diet.
Right.
That is her dietary need. Mm-hmm. You're vegetarian. Your diet is vegetarian. I'm gluten-free. So the only thing we restrict is
right.
what we...
That actually describes the diet. That
right.
Yeah.
It's not I'm on a 1,000-calorie diet. Yeah, no.
Also, a diet could be anything. Like you could literally have like 2 Snickers bars a day, and that's like your diet. But also when people say I'm dieting, it doesn't make sense because a diet is simply what you eat.
Right. Right. So, yeah. So I saw this thing on Instagram that said diet and healthy, and diet has DIE, die in front of it. Mm-hmm. And healthy has HEAL, heal in front of it. So I was like, ooh. Mm-hmm. And it had like all these things underneath it, but I don't remember them. But I was just like, that is good. Mm-hmm. I was like, he was like, yeah, diet's going to make you die, and eating healthy is going to make you heal. And I was like, okay, whatever. But I was just like, that's pretty cool. That's a good marketing tool. And so going back to the relationship with your body and food, mm-hmm. or I think I asked, how's your relationship with food? Or maybe that was a question for me. I can't remember. So my relationship with food, now is better. In college, I restricted so much. You know this. I would binge.
Yes. And I feel so bad that we laughed about it so much. Not like at you, like you and I laughed about it together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's also like when you're in high school and college and people are just doing crazy shit. Like I can remember trying to out exercise what I was eating at one point. That did not last long for me, by the way. But yeah, like we all were doing just stupid stupid things that they don't seem like that big a deal because you're in your early 20s and you're invincible and it's fine. You're not totally fucking up your autoimmune system.
Now I don't have that luxury, but I remember specifically your birthday. And I was like, I'm not eating this cookie cake. I'm not eating it.
Birthday.
I'm not eating it. Not doing it. And guys, when I say cookie cake, we're not talking small cookie cake. We're talking about a sheet.
It was a big old cake, like
rectangular,
a 2 foot by 3 foot situation.
And I was like, I'm not eating it. I'm not doing it. I'm not eating sweets. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing. And like we were in sorority together. Like they would have cookie cakes all the time. I was like, nope, good, not eating it. Wouldn't eat it. Wouldn't eat it. Weeks. No. Mal's birthday comes. I was like, not doing it. 2 hours goes by. I'm like, cookie cake's looking good. I ate that whole motherfucking cookie cake and left her 2 pieces for her birthday. Y'all think I'm lying? Nah.
It wasn't like before I saw it. Like we sang happy birthday. Like everybody who wanted a piece had a piece. And then we would go drink. We were at a bar.
Yeah.
So we were like drink and then we would go dance and then we would drink and then we would go dance. And then like a few hours go by and John was like, so
by the way, you ain't got no cake left.
Also, I didn't care and we were laughing about it. Like we still are.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not okay for us to be laughing about it. Or
I mean, it is. It is now because I recognize it now that it's a so I don't restrict like that. Like I'm not like no sugar, none, not because I was on like a no sugar, no whatever, no alcohol, no nothing. And then I remember I was on a no alcohol drink, and then we went and drank. I don't even remember what we were doing. You weren't there yet. We were at my ex's house, Amanda Breen, Paris. I had one drink. Shit-faced because I hadn't drank in forever, hadn't ate for real. You were still getting ready, I think, at your house when I had hit that tree.
I'm always last. Oh yeah,
I wasn't drunk. This was before
when you were freaking out that you hit the tree and you're like, I was not drunk.
I wasn't drinking. Well, I was. I was going to the house to drink. Hadn't drank yet.
On your way there, okay.
And I hit the tree. And I was like, I swear to God, I wasn't drinking. And then I got to the house after everything was said and done. And I was like, fuck this. This was a stressful night. I'm actually drinking. Drank one drink and was like, whoa, shit-faced.
Yeah.
Just because like restrict, binge. Never purged. Just saying like it became a binging problem because I restricted so much. So I don't do that anymore. What I try to do now is just be cognitive of it, and if I want something, eat it, and just be like, okay, I wanted it, I ate it, it's fine, move on with the day.
Yeah.
And that was one of the questions, because I asked a question box at the end, like if anybody had any questions, like, well, how do you deal with this? And I was like, I'm still dealing with it. I don't have an answer. I don't have a perfect equation for you.
Right.
This is what works for me.
Right.
I have to, just not restrict. Yeah. I do macro count for most of the part, but then when I realize it's becoming an obsession, I have to stop. I have to go back to like, we're not tracking, we're not counting.
Yeah.
And then I can go back to it. But those cues I know now were before I didn't.
Yeah. And it's so hard to coach something like that. Like it's so specific to the individual. Like I don't know what my relationship with food is like. What I do know is I hate putting effort into food. Like, I fucking hate it. I don't want to meal plan anything. I don't even like making a grocery list. I hate it. I find food to be so inconveniencing. Like, I sometimes get irritated because I'm hungry and have to, like, figure out what I'm going to eat. Like, it is so exhausting having to feed yourself all the time. And so, like, I'll be at work and just working and then ignoring what I think are, like, beginning signs of hunger where a normal person would be like, I'll have a protein bar or make a soup. And then it's 2 p.m. and I'm starving. And they're like, okay, let's just, go to Taco Bell or whatever we do.
Because I'm hungry.
Yeah. So it's so annoying to me. I have to put the effort in if I want to try and nourish my body in a better way. But it is hard because I just don't want to care.
So it is hard. And I, being someone who loves to cook, do love it. But I've recently starting to get tired of meal prepping.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to eat the same thing over and over. I used to not mind. It used to not bother me. But now with working 2 jobs, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busier than I normally am. I don't I was supposed to meal prep today and I had to podcast all day. So I was like, well, what am I supposed to eat tomorrow? My food is not cooked. Well, so I'm trying to find, and I have not found one yet. So if anyone has any tips, please send them to me. I want to find a paleo meal delivery service where it's cooked and reasonably priced. Like, I can't find one. I can find one that's gluten-free, but it has all dairy in it. And I'm like, I don't want to eat dairy. And like, and again, that's more for my thyroid. Like, I notice a difference when I like do eat it. Like, my hands will swell up. Yeah. And I'm like, ugh. Like, God, everyone knows when you swell up because you ate too much salt, it's miserable.
Yeah.
So that's why I do it.
Always happens to me after I have like sushi, like a lot of soy sauce. Mm-hmm. Like the next day, look like I cried all night.
Like my feet, my shoelaces will be imprinted in my feet. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I think that it's just a work in progress. I think that no one's ever going to have the answer. And if someone says you have the answer, they don't.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's very individualized. What works for one does not work for the other. And we just have to try to break societal norms. I think that's the only thing that's going to change anything.
Right. I think the overwhelming, that's not, I totally lost what I was about to say. The umbrella of it is accepting yourself, accepting each other, and listening to your own preaching when you're telling your friends or whoever that they're crazy, they should love themselves, they're beautiful, you should not worry about that, blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to be telling yourself those things.
Practice what you preach.
Yes. And because I am so bad about that. I'm so bad about lifting other people up and telling myself that I'm not good enough. And I for so long didn't realize I was doing it. But when Britt and I moved to Tuscaloosa in 2011, and I instantly gained a lot of weight because I started working in an office from serving tables. So there's just like built-in exercise out the window. I was just like so miserable. And I don't even know if I knew why at the time, but just with myself, and didn't even like, I just got to a point where I didn't even know how to like dress my body, which is so weird. Like it's probably like when someone becomes pregnant and they're like, I don't know what the fuck to put on this body. And so like, I would literally go to like TJ Maxx in the plus size area and just buy like flowy tops that I didn't even like. And if you know me, you know that I love clothing and I really appreciate a well-styled situation. And I've loved clothing my entire life. And so I think that was like a really hard phase for me. And I say phase, but it was probably, I don't know, a decade where I was just like wearing things I didn't love, just covering up my body. That's all.
But that goes back to like somebody said, like, you're not dressing your body, right? Or sorry, I'm saying this backwards. Like, you're actually trying to find clothes that dress your body, not squeezing your body into clothes.
Yeah.
So the clothes are supposed to fit you. You're not supposed to fit the clothes. So if you don't fit a size whatever anymore, get a new fucking pair of jeans.
Right. Well, you're making it a fucking bigger deal than it is.
Right.
If you have to go from a 14 to a 16 or an 18 or a 27, that's not a 26. It doesn't matter.
Just buy a new pair of jeans.
Do it and get something that you love.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason that you shouldn't buy a hot pink tank top if you want to fucking wear a hot pink tank top and that's what's going to make you feel good and that's what's going to express how you feel that day.
I'll tell you one thing. I've seen some girls trotting down the streets, bigger bodies than mine, because they have the confidence. They love their body. They love who they are. I'm like, they look so good. I'm like, why can't I do that?
Yeah, same.
I'll be like, what do they got that fucking they love themselves and confidence. That's what they got.
Yeah. So I started following and several plus, I'm like, when I found this community on Instagram, it was like life-changing for me to see these women in these bigger bodies that are not feeling shame about it. Or at least, I mean, I think it's hard not to, but I think that they're doing their best not to. And they're spreading a great message that you are still worthy. It doesn't matter what size body you have. These are all the stores that provide clothing for you. You have so many more options now than you used to.
I think Drake said it when he said YOLO, right? You only live once. I'm being for real. Like, we only live once, and we're going to focus. I focused from 22 to 32 on what I looked like. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't feel good, I wouldn't go out to dinner with friends. I wouldn't make memories. I wouldn't go eat out. I wouldn't do these things that literally are what my life is about.
Right.
So I'm 35, and in 30 years, I'm going to be 65. That's not that long from now. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get to 65 and say, oh, I sat at home because I worried what my body looked like.
Right. Like, please tell me at 65, we are not giving a fuck anymore what anybody's body looks like.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about that. At 65, we all going to be tatted up, wrinkly, and in leggings.
Leggings. I am not wearing leggings.
So I think the point is, for those that ask me how I deal with it, still dealing with it.
Right.
I focus on it every day. I work on it every day. I have to constantly positive self-talk. I think that the old saying, it's not an old saying, but like the old hack of stand in the mirror naked. Mm-hmm. Look at yourself, get comfortable with yourself. Say, I love my ears. I love my eyelids. Mm-hmm. If that's all you can find that you love, say it 3 times. You actually can change what your mind thinks and what your mind sees. Mm-hmm. And if you love it, fuck what everyone else says, because the right person in your life, your friends, your family, your husband, your spouse, your wife, whoever, doesn't really care.
Yeah.
They want you in their life. Mm-hmm. As long as you're healthy, happy, and loving yourself, do you, boo.
And it's also so contagious. Like, I want to get to that point because I want to be able to provide that safety and awareness for other people. Like, it doesn't matter what your body looks like. And it can be a safe place.
It is.
Like, just to be able to provide that to someone else. I am not there yet. I can't even hardly tuck my fucking shirt in. So that's like a big deal for me. So like the first thing I think of when you read your relationship with your body, or do you have a good relationship with your body? I'm like, what does it mean if you're not 100% comfortable tucking your shirt in? Probably not.
I'm not 100% comfortable wearing a crop top.
Yeah. It's like my aunt and I had this conversation recently about tucking your shirt in. And so it's become like this standard for me, this big
check off list.
Yeah.
To do.
It's like this bucket list thing that like one day I will tuck it in and not think about it all day. Wow, am I far from that right now?
And no one's thinking about it. And that's what's crazy is like, if I wear a crop top, is someone going, oh my God, I can't believe she's wearing that? No. They're probably thinking about their own bodies, what they're doing that day, the gas they ain't got in their car, how expensive fucking eggs are. Mm-hmm.
And if they are thinking that, that's not your problem.
Actually, it goes back to what we said earlier with therapy. That's their trigger.
It is. It is, because it's 100% someone that's not happy in their body is the quickest one to judge other people's bodies.
Right.
100%.
It's the one that says
used to do it.
Mom, Jesus, love Christ, babies of 3 on Instagram that is judging you.
It's very specific, but
usually that's their handle. Like, I love Jesus Christ. I'm a mom of 3.
You shouldn't wear that crop top.
Right. that you know. And I remember specifically when I was like, I'm not going to the gym in this crop top, and Megan was like, your sister, Megan is her sister, was like, what? If I had your body, I'd wear a crop top. And I was like, no, you wouldn't.
Also, that's a problematic thing to say. Anybody should wear a crop top. Anybody that fucking wants to wear a crop top, wear a goddamn crop top.
Name of this podcast: wear the motherfucking crop top.
Tuck your fucking shirt in. Do it.
That's the name of the podcast.
Do
Tuck
it.
Your fucking shirt in.
And slap your hand every time you think I shouldn't have my shirt tucked in.
So, what would be your advice for people? Like mine is, look at yourself in the mirror, say 3 positive things about yourself. What would be your advice for people trying to love their bodies, no matter what size, bigger, smaller bodies? Even super skinny people have a problem, because people are like, you don't have ass, you don't have boobs, you don't have. So anything, what would your advice be to them?
I don't claim to be an expert because I'm still doing this for myself.
Yeah, but just
on
what
top
you're
of
doing.
the things that you said, like looking in the mirror is super important. I think looking in the mirror in as little clothing as possible, super important, as often as possible. And like fucking like grabbing your gut, letting yourself know this is okay. Like things like that. And little things like, for me, it's tucking my shirt in. For me, it's also fucking going swimming in a normal swim costume. That's not a fucking dress or bike shorts or a sports bra.
A bathing suit? Not a swim costume.
Some people call it a swimsuit. But yeah, I think that's important. Spending some time with yourself and your actual skin, not in your clothing. And fucking dancing around in it, celebrating it. also the people that you're around. If you're around other people that are constantly talking about their bodies and their fucking new diet and their pants don't fit, or that they're like, someone in our office has recently lost a lot of weight. Of course, she's being celebrated, and she comes in talking about how her clothes are too big and she can donate them to whoever wants them and blah, 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 which that's fine. I'm proud of you if you're happy for what you've done, but we are not making comments on other people's bodies, because that is giving value to thinner bodies and devaluing bigger bodies. So surround yourself with people who are also trying to educate themselves, who are also on your same journey, or who at least understand your journey. And also, if you're on social media, make that your feed.
Yeah.
Make it these women that are dancing in their underwear with their rolls out and their boobs bouncing around and not giving a shit. Half of them don't shave their armpits. Preach. Like, well, I'm on board.
Even smaller bodies. Like, I love the Instagram feeds that's like, I don't look like this. Actually, this is what I look like. You know, like, I'm actually not this small.
They're like, I look like this when I pose, but here's all my cellulite.
Like, here's my highlight reel, but look at the real life.
Yeah.
I do love that trend that's going on. I'm like, oh, don't believe everything you see.
Mm-hmm.
People actually look normal.
Yeah.
They're not jacked up abs for days, you know?
Yeah. I think that's important too.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And if you're our age, you're probably looking at social media a lot.
Yeah.
So stack it with that shit.
And I can't decide if it's a blessing or a curse, because like we in the 90s didn't have social media. We had magazines, so you couldn't see that behind the scene reels, the diets, whatever.
Right.
But now you have access to everything. And I truly don't know what's worse. I used to be like, oh, it's better now that you have all these body positivity people. And that was my thought process. Thoughts are allowed to change. And I'm like, I don't actually know.
I feel like it is if you're aware enough to curate your feed to support and motivate you, and I don't think motivate's the right word, but inspire you and make you feel like I said, like when I discovered this, there's a whole fucking community of plus size people on Instagram that are like, we do not have to apologize for our bodies.
Right.
And they deserve to be celebrated just as much. And they have hundreds of thousands of followers. And it's like, oh my God, like where the fuck has this been?
Right. And I also think that there's a big power in unfollow. If something's not making you feel good, or you're constantly going back to something, praising something, or wishing you looked like something, unfollow it. Mm-hmm. Stop making yourself feel bad.
Yeah.
We're doing that to ourselves to some degree.
Right. Because a lot of people just want to seem perfect.
Like you said, find your community.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I have to say. Is there anything else that you have to add on this topic?
I don't think so.
I think we covered it pretty good.
Yeah.
So if y'all all participated in the poll on Instagram, I appreciate it. I always appreciate when you participate on the Instagram poll so that I can add them in value to the podcast. This is a hard topic to discuss, and I think it needs to continue to have a conversation. Like it carries weight. I think the more we talk about it, the more comfortable we get about it. And I think that people learn different perspectives or how people are feeling.
Yeah. It's ever evolving.
Yeah.
And more people get on board. So
1000%. So our advice, surround yourself with good community.
Also, I would like to apologize for any noises I made in the microphone because I did not know I had to be this close to it.
It's fine. So surround yourself with good community. Look at yourself in the mirror in naked or in as less clothes as possible. Say good things about yourself constantly. Get those negative thoughts
and
out.
Stop the negative ones.
Right.
Yes.
And go to therapy if you need to get help doing that. And until next time, guys. Bye. Peace.